This message is transmitted from a parallel reality where anger was no longer treated as a defect.
From here, we recognize your silence, not the peaceful kind, the restrained kind, the one learned early. You were taught to soften your reactions, to lower your voice, to smile through discomfort, to translate injustice into understanding. They told you anger was dangerous, unattractive, unacceptable, especially in your hands. So you swallowed it, compressed it, redirected it inward. You became agreeable. You became accommodating. You became exhausted. In our world, we studied this pattern. We saw how often anger was misnamed, called hysteria, called attitude, called overreaction. But anger was never the problem. Anger is information. It arrives when a boundary has been crossed, when something sacred has been ignored, when the self has been diminished. You were not allowed to feel it openly, so it found other roots. It became anxiety. It became self-doubt. It became guilt after speaking. It became illness in the body. Anger denied does not disappear. It relocates. You learn to question yourself instead. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe it's my fault. From here, we see the cost. A life lived, apologizing for instinct, for truth, for heat. In our universe, the shift occurred when anger was reclaimed as a signal, not a sin. Anger says, something matters. Anger says, this line was real. Anger says, I exist here. It is not meant to destroy. It is meant to protect. You fear that if you allow it, you will become cruel, uncontrolled, unlovable. This fear was taught to you. Anger does not require violence. It requires direction. When expressed consciously, it becomes clarity. When honored, it becomes self-respect. When integrated, it becomes strength without brutality. You were never meant to carry the world quietly. You were never meant to be endlessly understanding. You were never meant to be palatable at your own expense. In our records, those who reclaimed their anger did not lose their tenderness. They stopped leaking it. They learned to say no without apology, to name discomfort before it fermented, to stand still instead of shrinking. Anger gave them posture, not chaos. If you are listening now, this is your permission. You are allowed to feel anger without justifying it. You are allowed to express it without performing calm. You are allowed to trust it long enough to listen. Ask it what it is guarding. Ask it where you were crossed. Ask it what needs to be restored. Anger is not the opposite of love. It is often its ally, a force that says, this matters too much to ignore. In this parallel world, we no longer ask people to be less angry. We ask them to be more honest with it. You do not need to become quieter. You need to become truer. Let the anger rise, not to burn everything down, but to light the outline of who you are.
End of transmission.